Something you must learn in this life is that everyone has advice to give, but is it worth you really internalizing? Because, in all honesty, I think most advice you probably shouldn't take because you have to look at the person who is giving you the advice, where they're at in their life, where they're going in their life, and if you want to go in the same direction that they are going in themselves. Now, yesterday, or actually it was 2 days ago, I decided to let a little loose. I had a few beers, I smoked some weed with my sister, and then I vaped a little. And I'm going to be completely honest about that because this is my journey and I am becoming the best version of myself. But every so often, I will do that. Like, I hadn't really drank or smoked in over a month, okay? But for whatever reason, I was like, you know what? It's the last episode of Industry. I want to be a little lit, and why not, right? So I did that. And when I was lit, I was hanging out with some of my family members, and one of my family members was telling me like, oh yeah, like you should just ball out and get a few different clothing items so that you don't have to do it again. And I remember hearing this and immediately being like, no. And I actually said this out loud. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Because I think about the fact that I'm the type of person who cares very deeply about my finances. And I think that is something that I really wasn't quite aware of because I very much was insecure and I didn't want to admit to myself that the reason I was spending above my means was because there was a hole inside of me that I thought I could satiate with stuff, with spending more money than I was earning. And now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, yes, I'm working at this retail job and I make a few $100s a week and I'm very grateful for that. But how can I be smart about my spending? How can I be smart about my saving and my investing and ensuring that I'm living below my means so that despite the fact that I'm not in a high paying job right now, how can I cultivate those really awesome habits so that as my income scales up, I know that I will be able to handle it? Because what happened in the past, which is what I shared in a previous video, is that I went from making $1,000 a month to $8,000 a month. And in the span of 3 months, which is how long I worked at that company, I made about $24,000 that I literally went through like that because I didn't have the discipline to actually maintain that amount of money, and not just maintain it. I didn't have the discipline to save and invest for the future to ensure that I never got to a place again where it felt like I was grasping at straws because I didn't know how to live below my means, okay? And I think so many people don't even recognize that they're giving off this advice of like, you deserve it, you can do it. It's like, no, if you deserve it, like your future self deserves your discipline right now. And that's what I always think about. And before I sat here today, I did a workout. I did a 30-minute workout, then I showered. And that is just something that I do in the morning because I think about how I feel in the moment doing it. I feel great. I feel energized. I'm on a high as a result of my workout. But not only that, I'm thinking about how that's going to impact my health in the future. Because one thing about me, I have always had this idea in my mind that I'm going to live till 100 at least. But if I'm going to live till 100 at least, I don't want to be living till 100 at least and I'm decrepit and my quality of life is horrible. So how do I prevent that from happening? Well, you take care of your body now. I'm 29 years old and I have this habit of working out every morning or at least 5 days throughout the week, okay? And I think that's great. I also make sure that I'm not eating too crazy on a daily basis. And I've cut out largely my alcohol usage as well as weed, okay? And one of the major lessons that I learned from smoking the other day, and the reason why I think I even went toward it is because of the people that I was surrounding myself with, and it made me believe that, oh, it's totally okay if I do that. But if you're around people who enable habits that are not conducive to where you want to go, well then you are going to have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask, why is it that I feel the need to hang out with these people if they're not going in the direction that I want to go? Maybe you feel bad. Maybe you don't want to leave people behind. Maybe you don't want to seem like you're better than other people. But the reality is, how people perceive you is not your problem, okay? You need to really think about, what advice am I taking? What people am I surrounding myself with? And where are these people going that they are leading me to as well? Because that is super duper important. If you want to go to a place that no one around you has ever been to, you are going to have to do things that no one around you is doing. What that means is, instead of blowing your check on new clothes, blowing your check on going out, maybe instead you should get one item of clothing that you really like, save 10% of your money, maybe put $20, $30 towards an investing account, and be very, very smart about where you allocate your funds, okay? Because you have to think about it like this. If you are allocating your funds somewhere, you expended your energy in order to acquire that money, usually, right? So what is your energy worth? If everything that you're circulating your money on is, or are, things that are not necessarily contributing to the life that you want to live, then all you're telling the universe is that you don't believe you're worthy of what you say you want. And if you were to really look at your statements, I'm sure you would see, wow, okay, so I think that all of my energy is worth just me going out and not getting any real benefit from all that I'm doing. And hey, I'm not here to come for you. I am just saying, maybe take a look at what's really going on. Because when I got honest with myself and I took a look at what I was spending my money on, I realized that I was literally expending energy to be drunk, to be high, to have these temporary bursts of dopamine. And I wondered why my life didn't seem to be going the way I wanted it to go, is because I didn't really believe that I deserved anything better. And if you believe that, a lot of the people that you surround yourself with are also going to believe that. So when you start to change your life and you say, you know what, I'm going to be very mindful, very demure when it comes to what I'm spending my money on, and I'm not going to buy the 3 things when I know I really only love one thing, and I'll wait till next week. If I really still love it, then I'll get it. If you start to operate in that way, you are not only going to signal to yourself that you care about yourself, but you're also going to signal to the universe that you care about yourself, okay? And then when you do that, the universe is going to want to allocate more funds for you to care about yourself. Why? Because it knows you're not going to be self-destructive, all right? So in the season finale of Industry, it was just so insane. Oh my gosh, it was such a roller coaster of emotions. But my major point in connecting that is, one of these characters, I'm not going to reveal too much because if you are going to watch it, you should. I don't want to ruin it. But one of these characters, he essentially didn't really care about himself, didn't really care about his family, and would spend way more than he had. He would also take on debt to fund his bad habits. And it ended up getting him into a really, really bad situation. And I know a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, there are some people who are super rich and they don't really care and they're fine. But it's like, you don't necessarily know the full story when it comes to their lives. So you can't necessarily say that it's one way. People are always going to be putting on a front for other people, and that's something that you just have to recognize. So if people are going to call you frugal because you're not spending willy-nilly and you care a little more about what's going on in your financial life, I mean, are those the people that you want to take advice from anyway? No. So why does it matter? Stop caring about what people think, okay? Advice, opinions, they're a dime a dozen, okay? There are so many people who have so many different opinions on what you should do with your life, on things that will help you, but if it doesn't align with you, then why are you taking it? It makes absolutely no sense, okay? And sometimes it can be hard to hear that someone may not take your advice because you're not going in a place that they want to go. So they may hear you out, but they're not going to actually act on it. And that's the reality, okay? It doesn't matter. Stop caring about what people think. Do your own thing. Figure out what you truly want to do, what you're here to do, and go forth and conquer in that goal. Because the more that you can be on your own path, on your own time, doing your thing, the more that you can actually inspire other people to do the same for them, whatever it is for them, okay? Maybe you don't love my philosophy, but maybe the fact that I am walking in my philosophy inspires you to walk in your philosophy. And I think ultimately that's what we're all here to do. I'm no voice of reason. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the most perfect person in the world, because I'm absolutely not. I don't think anybody is. One thing I will say though, we all have a unique mission that we are meant to lead or meant to do in this world. And we all need to figure out what it is that we need to do and do it, okay? So remember, not all advice is good advice, but you can always know which is the right advice to take based on how it feels within your body and whether or not those people that you're taking the advice from are going in the direction that you want to go in. So if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.